So The Bad Guys is DreamWorks' latest animated adventure, and it's a film that I basically knew absolutely nothing about prior to going to see it. I saw my first trailer for it like a week or two back after I saw it up on the billboard at a movie theater, and it's a movie that I just haven't really seen anywhere. I haven't seen anybody talking about it. I haven't seen very many reviews for it, and so it was not something that I was particularly looking forward to, but when I learned about it, I decided to go check it out. And I gotta say, this was a lot of fun. I was really, really surprised by how much I actually enjoyed this movie. I wish that I'd seen more about it, that I had gotten a little bit more hyped for it because it is really, really good. I mean, it's one of the things that I love about it is that it is a heist movie, and I'm a big fan of heist style movies, kind of like what you get with the Ocean's movies, and it does it in an animated version with these bad guys. The main characters are all bad guys that you get from various children's stories. You have the wolf, you have the shark, you have the tarantula, the snake, and they all work together to pull off these heists. And I love the interaction that the characters have with each other. They're all voiced very well, and they all interact in a very fun way because they're bad kind of in their own unique ways, and they just kind of butt heads a lot of times, but at the same time they care about each other and they want to help each other, and so it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of a fun dynamic there with them. The heists themselves are fun. It's a very entertaining movie. The story, again, was also really, really good because, one, it has that fun heist element. It's entertaining to watch in that aspect, but then it just has a great story with the characters. You see a lot of change that occurs with them. You see how they start going from we're the bad guys, we're going to become the good guys so that we can still be the bad guys, but then they actually kind of want to be the good guys because they like being the good guys, they like feeling good. And so I really liked those stories, and I really liked how all of the characters changed throughout the film. I thought that was extremely well done. The one thing that stands out to me that I really wasn't the biggest fan of in this movie is that the third act gets pretty crazy. It gets a little bit extreme and a little bit bonkers, which is something that's fairly typical with animated children's movies. Is children like that stuff, so they kind of always go really big and crazy at the end because children love all the colors and the flashes and all that stuff. And I kind of wish that they'd kept the third act to be a little bit more like the first two acts, a little bit smaller scale, a little bit more character focused. The first act I thought was great with the heist. The second act, where they're trying to learn how to be good guys, I thought was hilarious. It had a lot of good stuff in it. And then the third act for me isn't bad. It's not like it turned me away from the movie or it's going to make me hate this film. I just wish it had remained kind of a little bit smaller scale and just kind of that simple story between the friends rather than going into this big, massive event that happens at the end of the film that I won't give any spoilers for. But overall, it's an entertaining movie. It's got a good storyline. It's got fun characters. It's well animated. I thought it looked really great. It kind of felt unique to me. I don't really know of another film that feels exactly like it. I guess Kung Fu Panda is probably the one that I would say kind of has the most similar feel, and it is done by DreamWorks as well, so that kind of makes sense. It's definitely one that I would recommend that you take your family to. It is a family film. The cleanliness of it is really impressive. There's really nothing in here that you need to worry about. Just thinking back on it, I think there may have been a swear word or two in there, but nothing serious. There's action and violence, but it's your cartoon action and violence like what you would get in a Kung Fu Panda film or any other cartoon movie. And so there's nothing there to worry about. I just think there's a little bit of drinking at like some parties, but it's not anything noticeable or anything that's a focus of the movie at all. So not anything that I think you need to worry about there. And to go along with the fact that there's really not anything bad in it, there's also a lot of really great messages to come with this movie as well. There's messages about being a good guy and what it means to be good and why we should be good. There's messages about how society reacts to people and stereotypes and how it's hard for people to change, but how people really can change. And so there's just a lot of good messages to go along with the fact that it is a clean movie. And so I really, really enjoyed that. But let's go ahead and get into my final thoughts for the film. So as I mentioned before, this is an extremely entertaining, family-friendly adventure movie. The heist elements of it were great. If you're a fan of heist-style movies, it's going to be fun for you to see it in this animated version. The characters were all good. They worked well together. I really enjoyed the stories that they were able to go through. It's also surprisingly funny. They've got a lot of heartfelt moments. They've got a lot of comedic moments that are really, really nice to watch. And it is packed with a lot of really positive messages that you can help your kids to learn from, that you yourself might be able to learn from as well. And so I really, really enjoyed a lot of what we got in this movie. And so for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and give this one a B+. The only thing that's keeping it a little bit low for me is the fact that the third act gets a little bit crazy. I didn't love it nearly as much as I liked the rest of the movie, but it's still a really good film overall as a total. The good parts outweigh the bad parts that I didn't like, and so I think it's a fun adventure that you should definitely go out and see, and should take your family and let them enjoy it as well. On the cleanliness level, like I mentioned, there is absolutely nothing in this film that you need to worry about. Maybe a little bit of swearing here and there. I can't remember any exact moments. A little bit of action and violence, your cartoon style, nothing like you haven't seen in other animated movies. And then there's the messages, learning about being yourself, being the good guy, not stereotyping people, allowing people to change, just all of these positive messages that are good for people. And so I really, really, really loved that. And for that reason, it's going to get an A on the cleanliness rating for this film. So those are my thoughts on the new DreamWorks movie, The Bad Guys. I really enjoyed it. Have you guys had the opportunity to see it? If you have, let me know in the comments what you guys thought of it, and look forward to more reviews coming in the future.